And thank you, Assistant Secretary General Chiari, for your remarks for the second time today. We mourn this tragic loss of life as we do the loss of each civilian life in conflicts around the globe. Mr. President, 2 days ago, the Russian Federation organized a council meeting to discuss events from 10 years ago. Russia claimed a discussion on the revolution of dignity would allow council members to better understand how these events affected the present situation in Ukraine. It is preposterous. This is what Russia demanded the council be distracted with this week, while it was planning its largest aerial assault against Ukraine, its cities, and its critical infrastructure since the beginning of its illegal full-scale invasion. Russia launched 158 combined drones and missiles against Ukraine, including 36 Shahed attack UAVs and 122 missiles. As President Biden said, this assault is a stark reminder that after nearly 2 years of this devastating war, Putin's objective remains unchanged. He seeks to obliterate Ukraine and subjugate its people. He must be stopped. We ask all council members here today to join us in condemning in the strongest terms this abhorrent attack on cities and civilian infrastructure across Ukraine. Rather than peace, Putin chose to mark this holiday season and usher in the new year with an unprecedented number of drone and missile attacks against another UN member state. Current estimates are these strikes killed at least 30 and injured more than 120 others. And these numbers are expected to climb. The blasts were nationwide. There were reports of strikes hitting a maternity hospital, a kindergarten, a shopping mall, a metro station, and other civilian areas. We expect Russia will claim it only attacks military targets, even when the evidence is clear for the world to see. The Kremlin's rhetoric and lies do not erase or conceal the horrifying wreckage across the country and thousands of innocent lives lost since the start of its war. Russia has employed such tactics before. What we saw today are likely a harbinger of what the Kremlin has in store for the people of Ukraine in 2024. The UN's Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights' most recent report noted in no uncertain terms, continued attacks by Russian armed forces resulted in significant casualty numbers in residential areas. The report makes clear that in investigating the missile strike on the village of Roza that left 59 dead, findings indicate the Russian armed forces either failed to do everything feasible to verify the target to be attacked was a military objective or deliberately targeted civilians or civilian objects. Mr. President, this attack is yet another warning of what is at stake. It shows us why the international community must continue to support Ukraine. It shows us why the international community must continue to demand Russia cease its aggression and immediately withdraw from Ukraine's internationally recognized territory. The United States stands with Ukraine and will continue to call for accountability for the crimes of Russian officials and forces against the people of Ukraine. We will not abandon the brave people of Ukraine who are fighting today for their freedom, for their country, and the values and principles outlined in the UN Charter. And I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the United States for his statement, and I give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
President, and I join others in thanking ASG Chiari for your briefing as well. Colleagues, it is with deep regret that we find ourselves here to respond to yet another brutal attack by the Russians against the Ukrainian people. Last night, Russia launched the largest wave of missile and drone attacks since the war started, using over 158 weapons of different types. This was not a push on the front lines. These missiles were aimed at population centers across Ukraine, at Kyiv, Lviv, Dnipro, Odessa, Kharkiv, Kamytsky, and many more cities. They struck homes, apartment buildings, shopping centers, and metros. A maternity hospital and a regional oncology center have been damaged. In short, civilian infrastructure. These reports are unfortunately no longer surprising, but they are still shocking. Reports indicate that at least 30 people have been killed and hundreds wounded, and the death toll is still rising. This toll would be much higher if it were not for Ukrainian air defense systems, which have been supplemented by the international community. This war, which a permanent member of the UN Security Council, Russia, chose, continues to inflict a devastating human cost on ordinary Ukrainians. Earlier this month, during my visit to Kyiv, I met children recovering from injuries caused by Russian missile strikes in Kherson and at Kramatorsk railway station. These children lost limbs. They lost their parents. They lost their childhood. But these are brave and resilient children, and they're determined to rebuild their lives, their homes, and their country. Russia's illegal and brutal aggression will, however, last long in Ukraine's history. Last night's attack was, as my Defense Secretary said, a desperate and futile attempt by Russia to regain momentum. They will not succeed. Ukraine has already forced Russia's Black Sea fleet to retreat from its Crimea base. Ukraine is defending its territory. It has already retaken more than half the land seized by Russia since February 2022, and, as I said, is pushing Russia back in the Black Sea. So again, we praise the bravery and resolve of the Ukrainian people and its armed forces. The United Kingdom continues to stand by them. We are sending hundreds more missiles to restock the air defense systems, which are helping to protect Ukraine's civilians and its infrastructure from Russia's brutal attack. Our support will remain for as long as it takes, and I join the Secretary General in condemning these attacks in the strongest terms. President, as this is likely the final meeting of the year, I want to express my appreciation to the Presidency for their excellent stewardship of the Council during this very busy month. And I'd also like to extend my appreciation to Albania, to Brazil, to Gabon, and to Ghana and the UAE. You've been excellent partners. You've made vital contributions to our work, and each brought your unique perspective, and we will miss you. Thank you.
From breaking news, detailed analysis, in-depth interviews, and explainers, follow the Times of India. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like our videos and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest.